Hello and welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. Currently in game we have 6 Hyundais that we can choose from to go and race and use in free roam, ranging from the Kona to the Ioniq 6, the Envision, which is a super cool car recently added to game. We even have a race car, the race car variant of the Elantra. But as you can see, we have one car that we don't have unlocked, the 7th Hyundai, the 2023 Ioniq 5N, which if we jump over to this week's Autumn Festival playlist, it is currently up for grabs for 20 points completion. I want to jump in this car today, see what it can do, check out the upgrades, and generally just have some fun with this car. I'm currently 18 points deep into the playlist, so I need 2 more points to get this vehicle unlocked. So I thought we'd jump on over to this week's collectibles challenge, Mascot of the Future, get that complete, grab the final points we need to get the Hyundai Ioniq 5 unlocked. So what do we need to do for Mascot of the Future? Smash 10 robots near Gran Telescopo. Also going to unlock that emote reward of the robot. Okay, I just had a cheeky little look. We just need one more of these little robot guys. There he is. Sorry, buddy. Smash Mascot of the Future complete. Here it is, the 2023 Ioniq 5N from Hyundai. Brand new to Forza Horizon 5. Fully electric, which makes it quite heavy at 4,900 pounds, 567 foot-pounds of torque, 641 horsepower, but it is four-wheel drive, which should help it get down the road a little bit quickly. Here we go then in the Ioniq 5. Let's let it rip. A little sluggish off the line because of launch control, but not too bad. Up to about 100 fairly quickly in about 8 seconds. No gear, so it is a one-gear wonder, being all electric. How's it going to be on the brakes? It is heavy, so I'm going to brake a little bit early. Really feeling that weight, not helped by the Urus there, as we get a little love tap in the rear. Can we hang it on the outside? Slightly nudging the wall. Yes, we can, as we go up into 4th place. Now, the looks of this thing, I wasn't too keen on it at first. I've seen a few of these things in real life, and they don't look great, but I think it's one of those cars that is going to grow on me. I kind of like the rear lights. They're very different to what we normally see on kind of traditional cars. I just kind of want manufacturers to go away from this, oh, it's an electric car, it needs to look futuristic. Just make them look normal. They don't need to look futuristic, silly, dumb. They just need to look like a normal car, and I think people will buy into the concept a lot more if the cars just look normal. I think that's why Tesla kind of hit the nail on the head, because their Model 3 and the Model Y, I guess, kind of just look like normal cars. They don't look futuristic. Can we sing it down the inside of first place on the brakes? Really feeling that weight. But then we've got the acceleration just to pull away from the 2nd place now. It was first, but we've kind of stolen that from him on the brakes. And this is kind of performing like every other electric car in Horizon 5. It kind of feels the same, but it is just a different body, if that makes sense. Just point, squirt, go easy in the corners, brake early. Not too shabby from the Ioniq 5 as we're nearing 150 miles per hour coming up to the finish line. That was a pretty good race, to be honest. First place. That was everything I expected from a bone stock Ioniq 5. It felt heavy, but felt easy to drive because of the one-gear wonder, the electric power, the four-wheel drive, just keeping it on the road. Now, if you look down at the speedo, just to the left of that, we have the left analog button with drift and all-wheel drive. So we just stick it into drift. A lot of the electric cars in Horizon 5 are coming with this option. So now that it's in drift, that puts some of the power, or most of the power, to the rear. As you can see, we can light them up, and it becomes a lot more lively when trying to take a corner. Now, I don't think this thing has enough power or enough gears to be a full-on drift car to go and get any sort of personal best or anything like that, but it's still a pretty fun feature to have on some of the newer cars in Horizon 5, and it gives me hope for Horizon 6 that some of the super and hyper cars that have race modes, that we'll be able to switch into those modes in the newer cars arriving in newer games, or maybe even newer cars arriving in Horizon 5. Now, I was going to take a look at the painting options because I'm kind of bored of the blue on this thing. I see it absolutely everywhere when this car is advertised, or I see it in real life. But I now kind of see why, because there is only one colour available for the Ioniq 5. So if you want to do something a little bit crazy, you're going to have to go to the normal painting options. You keep the red that goes along the bottom and on the calipers, so kind of pick a colour that goes with that. I might actually go white for this one. That's pretty much it. There's no advanced painting options. You can do the bonnet, the wings, the rear wing, wheels, brakes, and obviously windows, which are going to make completely black, just to sort of stealth it out a little bit. So the next logical step is upgrades. Now, there is a conversion that gives us 1,893 horsepower. We are going to come back to that because that puts us pretty much in S2 when I do some other upgrades along with that. We're going to go ahead and upgrade the motor and battery, giving us 833 horsepower. So we've got sport brakes, we've got sport suspension, we've done anti-roll bars front and rear. Obviously we've got that upgraded power. That is about it on the Ioniq 5 for A-Class A800. If I try and do weight reduction, obviously that's going to eat into my performance index, but we do lose 1,067 pounds if we do the race weight reduction. I think we'll try that for a racing build. 4,813 pounds in weight, 833 horsepower, top of A-Class, 9,150 credits spent on upgrades. Dunus Blancus Sprint then, here we go in the Ioniq 5. I've chosen this track on purpose because it's quite a high speed track. Now we've got our 860 horsepower, we are flat on that throttle and just eating up the miles per hour. 150 or 160. Ooh, what is the X5 doing? Getting a little bit out of shape. I'm definitely still feeling the weight of this thing. Obviously we couldn't get weight reduction on in A-Class. As we chase down the Jeep, can we get down the inside? We can. Being a little bit cheeky as we cruise past second place. Gonna need some brakes there. Definitely feeling the understeer with an Ioniq 5 out in the lead as well, so hopefully we can take that guy down. I'm guessing he's got the similar power as to what we do, 860, but it is the AI. And we all know that they are cheating. Oh, as we cruise by on the straight, on the brakes, he's got the inside line. He's tucked in behind me, kind of has. As we cruise off into first place. This thing does actually feel pretty good. It's not got full race upgrades on the suspension and brakes, but it still feels pretty solid to drive with the 860 horsepower. I thought it would be a little bit understeery, but it's not too bad. And that's kind of the thing that I find with electric cars. There's actually no sense of speed because you're not banging up through the gears. You're one gear wonder. I'm doing 150 in essentially what is first gear, so you don't get that sense of speed. And Horizon 5 doesn't do a sense of speed very well. There's no sort of motion blur when you kind of hit certain speeds, like 100, 120, 145, something like that. Like, there's no change. So when you're doing 150, you don't realise that you've got there as quick as you have in an electric vehicle, because they do it fairly quickly with the four-wheel drive systems and things, and the instant torque and the instant power that electric vehicles have. Again, pretty standard, pretty predictable race from the Ioniq 5 across the line, first place. So yeah, we've now switched the Ioniq 5 up to 11, 4,332 pounds in weight, 1,900 horsepower, S2 953, 100,000 credits of upgrades. So the Ioniq 5 race car, this thing will be a completely different animal. How are we up against Bugattis, Sesto Elemento, Ferrari F40 or F50 out in front? This thing is ripping 200 miles per hour, so the 1,800 horsepower as we understeer badly. And maybe I should have fitted that Forza front flap. Hard on the brakes. Right now for traffic as we chase down a Bugatti Chiron of all things, or is that the Devo? I can't quite tell in the fog. So we hit 200 miles per hour, 210, 220. This thing is absolutely zooming hard on the brakes. That weight reduction coming into play as we slow down quite nicely for that corner, to be honest. Can we make a move on third place here? Up the inside. Can't quite make it stick. Can we get him on the acceleration? Yes, we can. A very light Ioniq 5 now. I mean, I say light, still 4,000 pounds in weight, but we chase down an Aston Martin Vulcan of all things. He's not having to brake there. That shows the power of aerodynamics. Oh, hello. He's tried to kill me, and he's killed himself in the process. Goodbye, buddy. Can we do it? Run to the finish, run to the finish. Coming in third. Okay, let's get this thing sideways. Now, there is no drift suspension for this, as we do have that drift option on the analog stick when in free roam, but we do have drift tyres. So I've gone ahead and fitted those just to help it get sideways. Okay, I've switched the Ioniq 5 into drift mode using the analog stick, and I don't hold much hope for this because we don't have the steering angle that drift suspension gives us as we throw it in. Let's see what she can do. Yeah, I can't catch that sideways drift when it goes that little bit too far, and I just give it a little bit of angle. I can't catch it without the drift suspension. Why they left that off of this car, I'm not too sure, but it's not too bad, I guess. I've just got to be a little bit careful on the throttle with that instant power and instant torque the electric motors provide. It's actually not doing too bad. Slide it through 150,000. That's my skill issue. Coming across the line. 177,000. That could have been a lot cleaner from me, but as a drift vehicle, I just don't see it. I just prefer it as a race vehicle, to be honest. So there it is then, the Ioniq 5, better as a race vehicle than it is a drift vehicle. I think it's just too heavy to be drifting. I think it's too heavy to be getting it sideways and then catching it on a transition. But I mean, you guys might be able to build it a little better than what I have, but I just enjoy to race it rather than drift it. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the Ioniq 5 down in the comments. Subscribe if you are new, smash that like button, share the video with a friend, stay safe, and I'm out.